welcome to the Clifton Arts Center Gallery. I'm Roxanne Camilleri, the director here, and I welcome you to visit here at the Arts Center with the new exhibit that we have by the American Sewing Guild, the North Jersey Chapter. Their exhibit is titled Craft and Comfort, and it showcases the many ways in which fabric can bring comfort to our lives, but also educates us about the process of how we make clothing and blankets, and the whole process, even from the beginning of dyeing the materials. I hope you get a chance to visit with us. We are open Wednesdays through Saturdays, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and the show will be here until December 7th. We also will have a pop-up boutique show that will have many items and surprises for people to see handmade items. So again, you are welcome to visit with us. We are on Facebook and also on Instagram, and you can give us a call at 973-472-5499. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Anne Marie Soto, and I'm the Communications Chair for the North Jersey Chapter of the American Sewing Guild. And we're very excited that we have an exhibit opening here at the Clifton Arts Center. Today is our opening reception. Our exhibit is called Craft and Comfort, and it's to introduce people to all the various joys of sewing and the ways that you can share it with the other people in your lives. We're part of an organization that has about 124 chapters around the country. We're interested in just promoting the skill and the knowledge of sewing. Our members come from all over, and they are all sewing levels, new sewers, experienced sewers, and people in between. One of our groups is called the Clifton Clippers, and they meet once a month on Saturday morning at the barn here in Clifton. If you're interested in finding out more about our organization, we have a website for the North Jersey Chapter. It's www.northjerseychapter.org, and we encourage you to come and visit us and to come to the museum and see our wonderful exhibit. We have probably about 20 sewing artisans represented here, all sorts of projects and all sorts of sewing levels. So we think it will encourage you to join us and be part of this wonderful hobby. Thank you. I'd like to introduce you all to Carolyn Velechko, who is co-chair of this wonderful exhibit. And Carolyn did this gorgeous, gorgeous kimono, and I thought maybe she would like to tell you a little bit about it because she's very interested in authentic details for kimonos.
All right. The kimono was inspired by Japan's Imagine One World Kimono Project. And the project is aimed to create over 200 kimonos for the Olympics in 2020. Now, this is not a typical kimono that you would see in Japan, but it's my interpretation of it. Many kimonos have obis, which is this area of a kimono. And in the back of an obi, you often see a very large bow, a type of a bow. Or you may also see a large drape that drapes in the back of the kimono. So I brought this along. You can see how it's kind of copies the other side. So that's a little bit about the kimono. It's hours. Well, it took me quite a while because I've never done a kimono before, so I had the learning curve that I had to deal with. But I can appreciate the effort that goes into this, what's called straight line cut method for all kimonos. They're all created that way. So that's it.
My daughter is very responsible, so she told me well in advance of her wedding that she was getting married like in 2 years, so I thought, And I moved my sewing machine up into her former bedroom, and then I said I could make a wedding gown here, and when I told her, she was thrilled. And so we went together to find the pattern, and then we went into New York City and found a store that caters to brides and wedding stuff. And so I bought the fabric, and they gave us a suggestion of using this champagne-colored fabric with a pink lining, very light pink satin lining. And so at the wedding, the gown looked different in every light. So it was really fun to make. It was a year-long project, but I was working full-time, so it might not take a whole year.
A year constantly or what?
No, I was working full-time, so it was off and on. And then it took extra time when she was losing weight, and it slid right off of her, and so I started over with the bodice and all those tiny buttons in the back.
I see. Yes.
Yes.
All right, looks very nice.
Thank you.
And I guess if you had to buy a gown, that would cost a lot of money, right?
They told me at the store when I bought the gown fabric and described it and showed them the pattern, they said, if we made this, it would be $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've kept that.
Let me ask another question. Did she use this yet, or we're still in the 2-year
She's
period?
been married 23 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So she's had this in the box for all that time, and so she was very happy to give it over to me, and I had to iron out some creases, but other than that, it's held up very nicely.
Oh, well, okay. Well, thanks for showing your wedding dress, or her wedding dress off.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. Made that.
And did the quilt?
So I was working in a hospital outpatient mental health unit that works with children, and their waiting area was so boring. And I just felt so sorry for these people sitting there while they were getting treatment for really some terrible problems. So I decided to make something that was fun to look at. So this is called a kaleidoscope, and all of these little kaleidoscopic squares are made from the same piece of fabric. And so then I also tried to make variations in even how it was quilted, because I just wanted it to look like something you could look at and see something different every time.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Hello again. I'd like to introduce you all to Sarah Nunziata. Sarah is chapter president of the North Jersey Chapter. As an aside, she has a sewing school in Edison where she specializes in teaching young people to sew. So if there's a young person in your life, contact us and we'll put you in touch with Sarah. But I'd like Sarah to say a few words about the American Sewing Guild.
Okay, thank you, Anne Marie. I've been in the guilds, I don't know, I guess about 10 years, and it's a lot of fun. And I encourage people to sign up, adults and children, teenagers, men and women. And we're in the North Jersey area. I live in Edison, though, so I'm forming new groups in the Edison area and a little north. So I would love to have you join us if you have an interest in sewing, even if you don't really know how to sew, but you want to learn and you want to be with other sewers and learn from them. Please join us. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you all to Irene Falco. Irene is one of what we call our sewing artisans. She's got several pieces here in the exhibit, and we thought she'd tell you a little bit about this one particular special coat.
Thank you. This is my Coe's jacket. I designed it myself, and with a book from Coe's what was his name? Vandenaker. And I just loved this jacket, and it took me 5 months to complete. And when I finally put it on, and I said to my husband, "How do you like it?" He said, "It's going to take a lot of guts to wear that jacket." I was very disappointed, but I love it anyway. It's one of my favorite pieces.
How long will it take?
5 months.
5 months.
Yeah, working.
What sewing guild are you in?
I'm with the American Sewing Guild, the North Jersey Chapter, the Sophisticates up in Randolph, and I come to the Acme So-and-So's in Pequannock. Yeah, you're welcome.
This is Daryl Lancaster, and we are so lucky to have her as a member of our chapter. When I found out that she was a member, I think I did a backflip. She has, if you look at what she's wearing, even right this minute, we know that she wove the fabric of the coat and then made the coat. And I recognize her vest. She wove the fabric for her vest and then sewed the vest. But also she's got a number of other exquisite things here. She teaches all over the country, and she actually graced us with an in-service one time.
We did. That was fun. We had
Yes.
a tour of my studio, and we had a tour of my studio, and a number of the members came, and I set up some looms, and they all got to try weaving, and they got a little bit of an understanding of how the cloth is made. You know, most of the members of the ASG purchase fabric, and we all have a lot, but not everybody makes the cloth. And a couple of the pieces that I have here are hand woven, and there's a piece I have a coat that's right behind where the camera is, that is felted. So I made the cloth, but by putting wool bits together and then applying heat and pressure and water and soap, and I turned the wool into cloth.
And a whole new experience for how it looks and how it feels. Felt is different. You know it when you see it and feel it. It's different. And that one is beautiful because the colors blend.
The colors blend. The interesting thing about making your own cloth is that you have a much better understanding of how cloth works in garments and on the body, and how important grain lines are. That's way too much technical information, but we all know what that means.
Hello, Patrick. How are you?
Okay, what do you got to say for yourself?
I just walked through that exhibit. It is absolutely stunning. The handicrafts in there are just unimaginable, some of them.
A lot of work.
Lots of work. And I just spoke to two of the women who have some of their projects there. The hours of work that's involved is amazing. Yes. Thank you for asking.
Hello again. I would like to introduce you all to Pamela Kahn. Pamela has, for our Craft and Comfort exhibit, made a weighted blanket, and it has multiple wonderful uses, and I'm going to let Pam talk to you a little bit about it and why she started making it and what it's all about.
Hello, hi. I just wanted to explain what a weighted blanket is. It's a blanket with weight that is deliberately put in there, and it's used especially for people with autism or any kind of anxiety. People undergoing, recovering from chemotherapy find them very comforting. You simply lay down on your bed, you put this heavier blanket on top of you, and you're able to relax. It's an automatic relaxation, it just happens. And I usually make them customized so that, for example, the very first one I made was for a woman who had had a mastectomy. And so I made no weight on her left breast section so that she didn't have any discomfort in that area. Thank you. Oh, and I make them all for free through the American Sewing Guild.